And here's a question from Heartbreak High. Hi, Heartbreak High. Could you do a video on Saturn returns? Mine is in Gemini, and I have read up on what little information I could find, and I still don't understand it. Right. Well, the Saturn was in a particular sign and house of the zodiac when you were born. When we're all born, Saturn's somewhere. And the Saturn cycle takes around about 29 years. So every 29 years, Saturn comes back round to its natal position, wherever that is. And that's when, crunch time usually arrives. So it comes around about the 29th year, the 30th year of life, 31. That's when we've got to wake up and smell the coffee, because if we've just been sort of, I don't know, relying on our looks or relying on our cleverness or relying, just kind of experimenting with life and finding our feet a bit and, just kind of floating along, Saturn comes along and hits you over the head with her silver hammer and says, wake up! It's time for you to get real about life, get a bit more serious about life, take some tough decisions and sort out who you really are. So decisions that were made, and relationships and jobs and all sorts of choices that were made previous to that first Saturn return point, and we can expect, if we live a full life, maybe 3 Saturn returns, and I've done 2 already. So I might get another one, if I'm lucky, or not, as the case may be. So when the first one comes along, this is very much you getting more matter of fact with, life, relationships, money, the job, the universe, everything, getting sort of squared up with it and kind of getting more savvy and smarter, maybe, about the future, and feeling very challenged at the time. However, when you hear me mentioning, you've got Saturn perhaps in a hard angle at the moment to your sun sign, say for at the moment we've got Saturn going through Scorpio, and that's making a hard angle to perhaps a Leo Sun or Aquarius or opposing Taurus, then depending on which part of the sign you were born in, 29 years ago you would have been getting 29, 30, 31, because the transit's 2.5 years, you see. You would have been getting the same kind of, the context would be different, but the vibe, the challenging vibe, the blocking vibe, the frustrating, the burdensome vibe, the pressuring vibe, however you're feeling the vibe, will be repeating itself in that other area of your chart. And of course, Saturn going through Scorpio, even if the person was born with Saturn in, say, Virgo, when they got Saturn in Scorpio now, then it will be 29 years ago that they had the same, when they had the same transit going through Scorpio, even though Scorpio comes after Virgo. So, and actually that's quite a good relationship when Saturn is going through Scorpio, if you were born with it in Virgo. So if you're born with Saturn in Virgo, but you were born with the Sun in Scorpio, then with it going through Scorpio, 29 years ago, you were getting those same hits across to Virgo from Scorpio, where Saturn is, as it slowly makes its way through the 30 degrees of Scorpio, and the same types of challenging situations, although that is actually quite an easy relationship between Virgo and Scorpio. So just the need to be more consistent, reliable, responsible will be coming up. Okay, but of course, the other thing about it is if you are a Sun Scorpio person, you've got to be getting more like that anyway.